body image at the beach. It can be a struggle for a lot of teenagers, especially during the summer. And here to talk about that is Dr. Alexandra Gold, a clinical psychologist at Mass General Hospital. Nice to see you, doctor.
Hey, doctor, it's great to see you. First question, and we've heard about kids as young as 10 years old asking for spray tans or laser hair removal. These requests may sound ridiculous when I actually say it to you, but they're expensive too. Should parents take this seriously?
Absolutely. They should take it seriously because social media is making kids think they actually need to do these things. So we have about 95% of kids between the ages of 10 to 17 on social media, and they're seeing these images that are heavily altered, not realistic, but they're being normalized. So kids are seeing these images and thinking, oh, well, I have to have this procedure to achieve that.
I don't mean to cut you off, but that's a great reminder. The images are heavily altered, and people should realize that. Yeah, good reminder.
Are you saying that that as a parent, the kids should be able to do this?
The kids should be able to have these procedures. No, I'm not saying that they should be encouraged, but that there might be a desire for that in kids, absolutely.
And as a parent, what do you say to your child? Say they're 10 years old.
Yeah, well, there's a couple things I think parents could say to their kids. First, I would really encourage parents to sit down with their kids, open up one of these apps with them and take a look and say, hey, you know, this isn't realistic. This is altered. This is an effective makeup, and really take the opportunity to also promote body diversity. The idea that there's no one standard, right? All bodies.
I think that's important to say.
That is. Dr. Gold, let me ask you this question. We think about body image as an issue for girls, but does it affect boys too, right?
Absolutely, it definitely affects boys. So there are some examples like building muscle. So the media can send this idea for boys that building muscle is valuable. So boys may get involved in heavy exercise regimens or dietary regimes or start taking supplements to achieve that.
At a young age, and that's
Right.
That's not good. Right. Is there anything parents can say or not say to make their kids feel better about their bodies? And I think this goes back to that great point that you just made, which is sit down with your kids, look at these images, make them know this is not real life.
Right, absolutely. So in addition to that, here are two other steps I think parents can take. First, encourage a focus on activities that kids are doing that don't have to do with their appearance that are valuable. So what are kind acts that they perform? Or how are they achieving or working hard in different areas of their life to be a valuable person, right? And for example, also promoting activities like healthy eating and exercise, not for what they do for the outside, but for how they make a kid feel on the inside, the positive benefit it can have for one's body feeling good and building an identity that's not about appearance. So that's one step. And also, I think parents could really model positive self-talk. So if you talk positively about your own body, kids are like sponges. They pick up on what they're hearing and that will then turn over to them and they'll be more positive about themselves.
Yeah, lead by example. All right, Dr. Gold, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Kids are sponges. It's a great reminder, Dr. Gold. Thank you.